You don't think about them every day, but they're there, in the background, like a tab you never close. You've moved on. You've told yourself that. You've said the words out loud. You've maybe even dated someone new. And yet, at 2 a.m., in the quiet, they're still there, sitting in your head, rent-free. Here's the question nobody asks. What if the reason they won't leave has nothing to do with them at all? If Jung makes you uncomfortable, you're already in the right place. Subscribe. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you, it doesn't just explain why you can't let go. It explains something about you that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. And once you hear it, you can't unhear it. Let's start with what actually happens. Not the version you tell your friends, the real version. You typed their name into the search bar, then deleted it, then typed it again. You opened the conversation, read it, closed it, opened it again. You heard a song, not even a song you shared, and for 3 minutes you were completely gone. That's where you actually live. Not in the dramatic moments, in the small, embarrassing, specific ones. You've analyzed the relationship, made the list, said the words. You know it wasn't perfect. You know what they did. You know how it felt at the end. And still, there they are. The social script tells you this is normal. Deep connections take time. Give it time. Maybe. But here's what the script never mentions. Time has passed, a lot of it, and they're still there. So at some point, you have to stop blaming the timeline and start asking a different question. Not when will this stop, but why is it still happening? Because ghosts don't haunt places, they haunt unfinished business, and yours has nothing to do with them.
Carl Jung spent decades studying what he called the shadow, the parts of yourself you've buried, the desires you decided were too much, the qualities you locked away because they didn't fit the person you were supposed to be. And he noticed something uncomfortable. When we meet certain people, we light up, not because they're perfect, not even because they're good for us, but because something in them reflects something in us we normally can't see. Think about who you were around them, not the polished version, the real one, more alive, more real, like you finally made sense. Maybe they brought out your intensity, the part of you that feels everything too deeply and learned to hide it. Maybe they made your humor feel sharp instead of inappropriate. Around them, your anger felt valid, your desire felt allowed, your chaos felt like a personality instead of a problem. They held up a mirror, and in it, you saw yourself. Most people go years without ever feeling that visible. But here's where it gets dark.
What you saw in that mirror wasn't just the good parts. You took the qualities you'd suppressed, the parts of yourself you'd decided were too dangerous, too raw, too inconvenient, and loaded them onto this person, unconsciously, automatically. And your brain translated that feeling as love. You didn't fall in love with them. You fell in love with the version of yourself they made possible. And then they left. And for a moment, just a moment, you felt nothing. Not sadness, not anger, just a strange, hollow blankness, like a room with all the furniture removed. That blankness had a name, you just didn't know it yet. They took the mirror with them, and suddenly you couldn't see yourself anymore.
You're not grieving them, you're grieving you. Sit with that. Don't move past it. There was a version of you that existed inside that relationship, specific, alive in a particular way. The person who laughed at those exact things, who felt that exact kind of desire, who was seen, really seen, in a way that made you feel real. That person is gone. Not wounded, not asleep, gone. And I know that sounds extreme. I know part of you wants to push back on that, but ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you felt that alive outside of a memory? Not because the relationship was special, because you were different inside it. The intensity, the visibility, the feeling of finally making sense. You couldn't maintain it alone. You never learned how. So, when the relationship ended, that version of you didn't survive the winter.
Think about it. Who were you before them? Not your name, not your job. Who were you? What did you feel? What did you want? And harder, who were you during them? And where did that person go? Every time you go back through the memories, and you do, you know you do, you're not looking for them. You're visiting a grave. Your grave. The grave of a self you couldn't keep alive on your own. That's what lives rent-free in your head at 2 a.m. Not their face, not their voice, the echo of who you were when they were watching.
Let's be precise about what happened. Jung called this projection, the raw version, not the soft therapeutic one. You took your shadow, the unlived, suppressed, forbidden parts of yourself, and placed them onto another person, unconsciously, automatically, the way you breathe. And then you fell in love with the package. You loved what they carried for you. Here's the proof. Ask yourself right now, what specifically do you miss? Not them, not their presence in general. What quality? Their freedom? The way they didn't seem to care what anyone thought? Their confidence? Their intensity? The way they moved through the world like they owned it? That quality is yours. It belongs to you. It always did. You just couldn't access it directly, so you outsourced it, put it in another person, got close to that person, and called the feeling love.
This is shadow work at its most brutal. The things that attract you most intensely are almost always the things you've most completely denied in yourself. You weren't drawn to them despite who they were. You were drawn to them because of what they were holding for you. And now the host is gone, and the quality, the aliveness, the freedom, the intensity, it feels gone too, because you never learned to own it without a mirror. The question was never, how do you get over them? The question is, why are you still outsourcing yourself?
They're not in your head because you love them deeply. They're in your head because they showed you a version of yourself you haven't been able to find again. Every replay, every late-night spiral, every time you open that conversation and close it without sending anything, you're not looking for them, you're looking for you. And here's the coldest part. That version of you, the alive one, the visible one, the one that finally made sense, it didn't die because they left. It died because you decided you couldn't exist without an audience. That's not grief. That's a choice you keep making every time you go back. Most people won't examine that. It's easier to keep the ghost, to revisit the memories, to let someone live in your head forever, rather than face what they were protecting you from seeing, your own shadow, your own unlived life, your own face without a mirror. Jung knew this. He also knew most people would rather haunt themselves for decades than look at what's actually there. They left, but you're still the one refusing to leave.